Hi everybody, you're listening to the Khandaan podcast by the You Podcast team, a bi-weekly podcast revisiting the movies of Amir Khan, Salman Khan and Shahrukh Khan.
Every show we pick a random year from 3 decades of collectively 300 films the Khans have done and let our listeners vote which movie we should talk about. So it's entirely up to you.
Pick a team, make a vote, take us down nostalgia lane, punish us, or make us reassess a movie we dismissed.
We love the Khans, most of us, sometimes. And we would love for you all to be part of our Khandaan, because when it comes to the Khans in Bollywood, nothing else really matters.
Welcome, Beth. Top friend Beth, you're joining us.
Thank you, top friends. Always happy to be here.
For this moment.
Happy New Year.
Oh.
Happy New Year. Yeah, in February.
True. You're joining us on our face-off battle episode for the film predictions, right? It's on this episode.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's on. I will lose, but I'm game to play.
So what we're doing this episode, we're going to be talking about some trailers. We're going to be talking about Baghi 3, and because we really want to hear, about geopolitical solutions through the eyes of Tiger Shroff movies. Then we're going to be talking about the Thappad trailer. And then we're doing our Filmfare predictions. Why did we want to do that? Because I was listening to a few podcasts and they were like having this deep analysis about, Oscar predictions and things like that. And I was like, hey, we should do this. And then I thought a bit further about it. I was like, there's no comparison between Oscars and Filmfare, but it's such a sad state of affairs. It's the closest thing we have, right?
Yeah. I mean, I have not even picked my picks. I've got the website open and I'm just going to say whatever comes on my mind.
So Joy and I are like the backbenchers of this podcast. Like Asim is like sitting there doing research, listening to other podcasts, taking notes, and we just show up and we are like, ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Asim ne kya likha? Show.
See, but that's why I'm famous on Reddit, right? That's the reason. It's like the work I put in to be famous on Reddit. Oh God. Oh yeah. By the way, if you want more of my of my fame, I was also on the Movie Wala podcast talking about Chan. So they're going to be Tanvi and Flo were very nice to invite me. And they just let me run wild on their podcast. So it's really fun. So people should check that out too when they post it in the next few weeks. And it was
please note, Asim was on brand where he almost called Tanvi, and then he remembered that she's a friend and he knows how to say her name.
I did. I did so well on the podcast. I did it really well on the podcast. That was so good because I messed it up when she was on ours. I kept calling her Tanvi, and I was so sad about it later on. But we all admitted that was like the first time we spoke and stuff like that. So, chalta hai.
To those of our listeners who are similarly challenged, I just want to give a shout out to our friend Sammy, Lipstick Patrol, who has a new Twitter account called, what is it? Is it Filmy Help, Asim?
I think it's called Filmy Help, yeah.
Yeah, so it's called @FilmyHelp on Twitter. And you can just tweet at them and they'll tell you how to pronounce people's names and things like that. So
Filmy
that's
names.
a helpful reason. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so the name is Filmy Name Help, but the account is @Filmy Help.
Yeah. Beth is
I'm laughing because, first of all, obviously I'm the person who on this podcast needs that the most, but when you can't use the Roman alphabet to spell Hindi. You can't. Right. So this can only go. It's a noble effort, but it can only go so far. And really the thing to do is just link to videos of people saying things.
Yeah.
Or we're all going to have to use the the International Phonetic Alphabet. And I feel like that's kind of a lot to ask of Twitter. So it's it's a very noble effort. But when I watch people ask questions, I'm like, you spell that, even other Americans would spell, we don't speak English the same way. So why on earth would we use transliterated Hindi the same way? Like it can't work.
Yeah.
And it's also like really difficult because like Pakistanis use Urdu alphabet, like they use Nastaliq. And so the transliteration is different from Hindi speakers who use Devanagari.
Yeah, that's why I say Revati. That's exactly the reason.
Yeah.
I'm blaming it on Urdu.
We finally have the explanation.
Yeah, I'm blaming it on my Urdu.
But yeah.
Okay.
Let's crack on.
Yeah, no, I was actually going to suggest her, like people should just tweet you a word and she would pronounce it and then just do a voice clip.
Yeah.
But then I was thinking, that song Dilbar? Like Dilbar, Dilbar. Apparently in like the Arab countries, it was known as the nipple song. Sujoy, were you telling me this or was somebody else telling me that?
Yep.
You told me that, right? And I was just thinking,
it all comes around that we are so on brand with nipples. So
the story was meant to be told on this podcast.
A friend of mine just came up with I was talking about, we have this Bollywood podcast, and he said the only thing remotely related to Bollywood he had seen was back in Morocco when he was growing up. This is the YouTube clip that got famous, and it's like the Prabhudeva Benny Lava song. It's just misheard lyrics kind of thing, and it's all written where Sushmita Sen is dancing to Dilbar Dilbar, and underneath it's written the nipple nipple.
Yeah.
I guess that's how people hear it.
Yeah, so even if you pronounce it and it's the title of the song, people still hear what they want to hear. So I don't know how this is going to work out. Oh, God. God.
Oh, also shout out to Beth, who has this long-running like Tumblr. Beth, how often do you update it these days?
It's been a while because I haven't found any, really great, ridiculous subtitle translations or transliterations to put up. So it's an uneven supply, but when I get them, I put them up.
I mean,
it's called Pagal Subtitles.
Yeah, Pagal Subtitle, which has been around for longer than I probably would like to think. But I just had this, Greta does too, I should say, Mem Sub story of, when you rely on subtitles, you occasionally get some really just amazing either mistranslations or spellings or typos that lead, that just are a hoot. So I love to share those. And it got rediscovered this week.
If you're having a bad day, just go to that Tumblr. It will just liven up it.
And also, we're #1 podcast in Pakistan this week. Yay!
Yay!
Thank you to the algorithms in iTunes that surely screwed something up and made me happy for 1 week, and then somebody else will take over. But
I mean, next week we're going to get like reviews from Pakistan saying like Asim sucks.
Ye kaun coconut hai? Like, what is burger? We say burger, right? Ye kaun burger hai? I'll get disavowed by the entire country. Which actually I must say, when it went #1, I got really, really scared because that means actually people are listening to what I'm saying, and if this is the portrayal of Pakistan, this is not going to go well for my family back home. Okay, let's get started, guys. Shall we start with the Thappad trailer?
अबू ये तुम्हारा इंटरनेट नहीं चल रहा है यार अब।
हाँ, जो भी घर में ठीक से नहीं चल रहा है वो मेरा। हाँ।
जम्मू, I'll kill it now.
बस डेस्परेट होकर प्रेजेंटेशन मत देना, फिर you'll kill it. वैसे भी तुम डेस्परेट अच्छे नहीं लगते।
अच्छा?
जानते नहीं हो मैं कौन? 6 महीने तेरे ऊपर तेरा बाप उठाया कि कंपनी चला सकता है। समझा? That's who the fuck you are.
Sure.
So that's Thappad. That's how you pronounce it for the full.
Yeah.
It's a hard one. I think this is a hard one for people to pronounce, just to kind of, So this is funny because I mean, I've told this on Twitter, but apparently a lot of people listen to us that aren't on Twitter. Who knew? I interviewed Anubhav Sinha for Article 15 in London. He was doing a press conference, and he was telling me about Thappad already at that time, and he was like, "Oh, it's already pretty much shot. It's done. It'll release in January." And he kind of gave us the basic concept of what he was trying to do, and it's just. So interesting that you hear the pitch from a filmmaker's mouth, and I'd not heard of the casting. Oh no, he did tell me that Taapsee was in it, and then seeing the trailer 4 or 5 months later, and then seeing what that vision becomes then on screen. So I thought that was really, really interesting. And he also said that working with Taapsee and working with Ayushmann is very, very similar. They have a very similar personality. I did make the dumb joke that if sometimes Taapsee is not available, maybe he could put a wig on Ayushmann Khurrana, but that's beside the point. That's my brand. I wanna hear from you, Amrita, or Beth even. Like, did you guys see the trailer, and what did you guys think about it?
I did, yeah. Amrita, you go first.
Thanks for throwing me to the lions, Beth.
Yeah.
What are friends for? So I remember when you did that interview, Asim, and I remember you telling me the one-line pitch for that movie that he had given you at the time, and I remember feeling like really dubious about it. Like, what? Yeah. But I have to say, like, the trailer looks way better than the pitch that I heard at that time. I don't know what I really feel about it. Like, on the one hand, like, I want to think that he's, like, making a movie that would actually talk about, like, a woman just talking about, like, how abuse doesn't, like, you don't just overnight go into physical abuse. It's usually a cycle, and it usually builds up to physical abuse. So there's, like, there's mental abuse, there's verbal abuse, there's physical abuse, there's different gradations of abuse. There's things that people would not think are abuse. There's like emotional abuse that a lot of people put up with. And so if he's planning to like do like a proper deep dive into this woman and like the kinds of things that she's been putting up with, and then sort of explore the notion of like why this one slap is so important to her and why she suddenly decides to take a stand. That would be a really interesting film. But I mean, I have to first watch the film to like make up my mind, because the trailer looks fine, but I'm very cautious about Sinha as a director and about these kinds of themes in Hindi cinema.
You haven't seen Article 15, right? You didn't get around to it? I remember
no,
you spoken
I still
about
haven't.
it, right? Yeah. And Mulk, did you watch Mulk?
I did watch Mulk,
Okay.
but I didn't see the whole thing. Like, I watched like half of it, and then I was just like, nope.
Right. Beth, did you watch Article 15? I'm asking because this Sinha, these three movies are kind of the new zone that he's in, right? And Pink, right? Right. Pink he did also, right? Yeah.
No.
Article 15, Mulk and Thappad, they all seem to be kind of in the same zones. That's why I'm asking Beth, have you seen Article 15 and Mulk, and how do you feel about Thappad's trailer?
I didn't see either of those films, but I did see the trailer, and I too am cautiously optimistic, because it's an interesting idea, but it's going to be very hard to pull that off, I think. But I like the idea, even just sort of as a narrative device, of deciding that you're going to do something around one moment that makes someone flip a switch. Because that's kind of dramatic, yet I think we've all experienced it in some way or another. It's not the kind of drama that's, okay, we go and see that on films, but we never do that ourselves. So I think it could be really good, and I'm sure Taapsee will be great.
Yeah, I also wonder if it's the movie that people will be like, running to the theaters to watch this. It doesn't seem like, it seems to be more like a movie you'd probably watch at home than going to the cinema for it. But it has really started discussions, I feel. As soon as this trailer dropped, people were like, there was a big debate going on, from conservatives towards liberal. Did you catch any of that, Sujoy, or did you at least pick up on some?
I tend to really filter down my Twitter timeline to contain only the stuff that I'm interested in. But I did sense that there will be some sort of a backlash from what we call as the Kabir Singh fan club. And I think it was intended to make them react the way that it was kind of expected of them. Otherwise, they wouldn't be called that. And that's the interesting bit of how this movie addresses that, as well as what I also saw in the trailer was it also portrays the sort of complacency of our Indian society, as in, she is having she's going through all of this, and she is the difficult one, or the one that should negotiate with everything. So it'll be interesting to see that.
Yeah, I mean, it's hitting like a lot of these points, especially the complacency of the family, the immediate family, even probably her mom and her dad, like, just get over it, or, just forgive him, which is that kind of central question, like, should the institution of marriage be above abuse, and is this abuse, being slapped one? Because the way Anubhav said it, that the guy is supposed to be a really good guy that takes care of his wife, and it's not necessarily that, he's been abusing her for a long time. Like, he would be considered a good guy, like in our society. And then if he's only slapped her once, should you forgive him or, not? And I think it's definitely interesting seeing both sides of the debate, although, not every discussion is worth seeing both sides of the debate from. But I am kind of... Right. I am kind of... Yeah, it is. It's a tough one. Like, I obviously clearly don't feel like anybody should, slap anybody. But it's like we were talking about, we were reviewing Main Hoon Na later on, right? And it's not about abuse, but it's about infidelity. And there is a point where, should she forgive Naseer's infidelity or not? So again, it's... there are two sides of the debate, and I don't know if both sides should be listened to. I think the movie looks interesting. I don't know if it's going to be like something that people will be running towards the trailer to watch, but I do think it's creating a discussion and a debate which is, interesting.
I think if this movie is even halfway decent, a lot of people will watch it, especially women. But I think also that the reason why I feel on the fence about this movie is because of the whole, like, the fact that, and this might be completely unfair to him, but the fact that, Anubhav Sinha has sort of turned himself into a sort of Twitter progressive lion. And there's a bit of this movie that feels incredibly gimmicky, like, there's that whole thing of like putting in his mother's name and the entire casting crew putting their mother's name into their names and everything. And I'm just like, it just feels really gimmicky. So I don't know what the intentions are. And with film, that's really hard to determine because it is an art form, but it's also commercial. Like, it is also a business. So I don't know, like, I'm going to reserve my judgment until I watch it. And I think I will watch it.
I don't even know who wrote it. I'm looking at IMDb, but I can't see who the writer is in the credits.
It's him and another woman.
Okay.
But like somebody on Twitter pointed out, like he put his mother's name in his name, but like his name comes first in the credits before his co-writer, who's a woman. So like, what's the deal? So that's really funny.
Yeah.
You can never win against Twitter, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the moment somebody tries to utilize being woke as a marketing strategy, I always think, like, you're going to regret it. Like, you're going to really regret it.
I actually asked him that question during the interview too. when you are being a progressive, there's already somebody that's more progressive than you are, and how do you deal with that? So people should maybe check out his thoughts on that exact question that I asked. So interesting. I think we're all pretty interested in this movie, so it could be cool.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Baghi 3, which is the other trailer that dropped. It is kind of like it's almost like it's as a sudden turn as a somersault by Tiger Shroff, going from this trailer to the other trailer. So for people, I just noticed Pink was produced by Shujit Sharkar, and they look very similar, both him and Anubhav Sinha. That's why I got them confused. Or I'm blaming my Urdu, one or the other.
You are like they don't.
Asim, you are as bad at facial recognition as our other friend.
No, Asim is like sitting in UK and like he's like looking at all the brown people and it's like they all look the same to me.
They literally do.
लोग रिश्तों में हदें पार करते हैं। मेरा एक ऐसा रिश्ता था जिसके लिए मैंने सरहदें पार कर दी। बाबा हमेशा खिलाते थे ना।
Yeah, let's move on to things that look the same, which are Tiger Shroff movies. So, for those that don't remember, the first Baghi was very much like a remake of The Raid. The second Baghi, they discovered nationalism. And the third Baghi, they want to destroy Syria, which seems to be like a jihadi Shangri-La that they've created. Like,
I watched that trailer and I was like, what did Syria do to these guys? Like, did it like, I don't know, call their mom names? Like, what the hell, man? Like, where did Syria even come from? Like, what is it?
Yeah, and like,
it's just the most amazing part is Ritesh Deshmukh is going to Syria for just some routine paperwork. Oh man!
But like the situation in Syria is very, very complex. I follow global, news and politics. I cannot understand or figure it out. So it's quite ballsy for Tiger Shroff and Ahmed Khan to just say, this is what we're going to do with Syria, because I don't know which side they're on.
It's not ballsy, it's just stupid. Ballsy implies that they thought about it. And I'm sure they did not.
They were probably like a Muslim place with war in it.
Yeah.
They were like,
and apparently like Jaish-e-Lashkar is in Syria now. Like where? Where did you get... Anyway. Beth, I know you're a huge Tiger Shroff fan, right?
I did not watch this trailer, and actually I've only tried the second Baghi, I guess, and it was on a plane, and not even on a plane would I watch that. So
okay, this is good. This is good, Beth. You've not watched the trailer, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, you've not watched the trailer, right? What do you think is happening in this trailer, knowing that it's Tiger Shroff coming after his success with War, and Ritesh Deshmukh is in there, and they're in Syria? Just give us like, what are the images you're seeing when you just close your eyes and I say those things?
Yeah, so there's like a close up on Tiger's, maybe even just his eyes because he's peering through something, or he's got some kind of like face covering on, and then obviously there's some kind of acrobatics. Yeah. I'm going to go like at least 4 sequences in the trailer, and they can be quick, but the paperwork thing about Ritesh threw me a little bit. So is he a bad guy in this, like he has been recently?
He's the damsel in distress.
Oh,
he's playing his brother. But we don't know from the trailer.
He's tied to a chair, like in a really grimy room with one light bulb.
He is very good, very good. Beth could just ride this.
Are you seeing tanks, Beth? Are you seeing any tanks?
Oh, of course, it's the Middle East. There's tanks. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Are you seeing Shraddha Kapoor sliding on those tanks?
Oh, I am. Is there oil? Like sometimes there's oil.
Yeah. So
we are playing Baggy Bingo.
yeah.
I would go see it in the theater with a bingo card for
Yeah,
sure.
I want to give Beth some more context because this is fun, right? Ritesh is playing Tiger Shroff's brother, but we don't know if he's his older brother, his younger brother, or his mentally disabled brother. It's not being made clear in the trailer.
That is true.
And the second thing I also want to kind of give you is that the tanks, the tanks have that gun in front. I don't know what that's called, that tank. But the way in trailer, the way it's visualized in the trailer, it's like penises.
I mean, that's not unique to them, I'm sure, but yeah.
So I wanted to kind of give you these two tidbits to kind of give you a fuller picture of what's happening in the trailer.
I can't wait to watch this trailer.
I sold it to you. Okay, I'll make another controversial statement. This is becoming like a thing. I'm warming up to Tiger, man. It's happening.
I'm telling you, the moment somebody is a flop, Asim is like, I am so in love. Asim ke dil mein प्यार उमड़ आता है. Like, it's amazing.
No. कुछ होता है अमृता, तुम नहीं समझो.
No, but I'm trying to figure it out because you pointed this out last time, right? With Artik Karyan and stuff like that. And I was thinking about it because I do think about the things I say. Like, what appeals me about these things is people that graft. I really appreciate people that don't have that much talent, but they really, really work hard. I appreciate that. But then on the other hand, I also sometimes appreciate guys that don't try as hard and just like let their cool personality just like carry them. Like Abhishek Bachchan, for example. He doesn't work that hard, but he's just a cool guy. I like him.
I mean, where did his coolness take him? Like, it just took him off Bollywood entirely.
Yeah, but I am on team Abhishek still, even though he's not, successful. But with Tiger, I feel he's really trying. Like, he's really trying. Like, can you not see the effort that he's putting in, So
do you remember
he tries really too much at the gym rather than in front of the camera, though.
But do you guys remember when War came out and the director was like, I made Tiger do acting workshops for War?
Yeah.
Are you okay, Amrita?
I'm just thinking of somebody doing acting workshops for that movie. I'm just like, wow.
I love the fact that
some people do need that, right? Because we will be talking about Zayed Khan in Main Hoon Na.
Yeah, I wish they'd done that, right, with Zayed Khan. But also the fact is that you're doing acting workshop after you're 12 movies into your career. He's already done 12 movies. Hey, maybe I should take an acting workshop. But I do think the acting...
I'm watching this trailer on mute right now while you guys are talking. You're so right about what is this, brother? It's amazing.
Yeah. And I do feel the acting workshop has paid off because I have seen a lot of Tiger Shroff movies now, which I realize. And his dialogue delivery is slightly better in this movie than it was in the previous Barries. So something is happening. And I also feel his face is kind of looking more like Jackie Shroff's face, which I can appreciate. So those are the things I'm starting to appreciate in Tiger Shroff. It is funny in this trailer that both Ritesh Deshmukh and Shraddha Kapoor have less prominence than his abs, which is kind of normal, right? Because you just see little clips of Shraddha Kapoor, but you see a full-off shot of Tiger shirtless throughout the whole trailer. So yeah, they're on brand. I appreciate people staying in their lane and just working and grafting. That's probably why I like Varun Dhawan. He's in his lane, he's just doing and he's working his thing, not experimenting and trying to be, Ayushmann Khurrana or whatever. Imagine if Tiger was trying to be Ayushmann.
So me and Amrita were talking about Varun's career on Twitter when you were silent, okay? And how much Amrita likes illegal weapon from Street Dancer now. But we were also talking about...
Not illegal weapon.
No?
Nachi.
Okay. I like a lethal weapon, by the way. But we were talking about how initially we all thought Varun's career was going to, like, he idolizes Govinda and Salman more. But the way things are, he's probably going the Mithun way instead.
Sujoy was like, he's going to buy a hotel in Ooty and like start shooting his films over there.
Did you guys notice that the Bhagi 3 tagline seems to be whack, smack, attack, never look back?
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
No, those are the words that come before the title at the end of the trailer.
Amazing.
Is that why he's kicking people with a back kick and not looking at them? Is that like the theme of...
That's Tiger's Tinder bio, by the way.
TMI.
Did you see the blatant rip-off shot from Wonder Woman 2 in the trailer?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
That's ballsy, man. That's ballsy. Okay. Anything else? Beth, have you done with the trailer? Anything else you wanted to add?
I'm watching him kick a bunch of faceless Muslims. It's really bad. It's really bad.
Yeah. I'm telling you, Syria is a jihadi Shangri-La, man. That's what it is, Syria. Let's move.
That's actually it, right? Like, that actually is it. Like, it's like, remember those 80s films where, like, Dr. Dang and, like, Mogambo and all had their little Shangri-Las?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, this is literally that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, and it's also the line from Taken, you know, like, if you like, I don't know who you are, I don't know where you are, but I'm gonna find you and I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah.
Like, that's basically the same speech in Hindi. Like, that's what he said.
Yeah.
Tiger Shroff is Liam Neeson. Wait,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, they just replaced his daughter with, like, maybe a mentally disabled brother. Because he's wearing like a uniform in a moment in the trailer, but you know, like sometimes like no, this I'm not gonna make that joke. It's mean. Never mind. I was gonna go full Johnny Lever here, but I'm gonna refrain. It's not nice. Okay, let's move on. DM me. I'll DM you what I was gonna say. Let's move on to our dishum battle sequence. Let's do our Filmfare nomination. I'm really looking forward to these guys, right? This is going to be fun. So you know the rules, right? We're going to pick the movie that we think is going to win the Filmfare Award of 2020, which I think is coming out 15th of November, if I'm not mistaken. Don't hold me on it. I don't know shit. But
15th of February.
Is it 15th February?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we are in February, not in November.
I was like, wow, why are we doing this now?
And so it's the movie that's going to win, not the movie we want to win. There's a difference there, right? There.
Yeah.
And we're going to tally up all the points out of all four of us, and then the winner gets to pick the movie that all four of us are going to watch next time. So, Beth, you have to come back and share the pain with us.
Absolutely.
Definitely you're going to be not in the winning group because I'm probably going to be the winner here. You guys know this, right? By predicting...
Asim has a statistical model right now ready, running on an Excel sheet.
See, I knew I'm working with some backbenchers here, so I went through the list of the last 5 years winners. I went through the booking sites. I looked through hashtags, and I also looked at who's doing background training to perform at the Filmfare Awards, because whoever shows up will win an award. So now, let's go at this.
You spend more time predicting than you're going to spend watching whatever terrible movie you are assigned to watch. I think you've already lost.
And by the way, none of us are actually going to watch the Filmfare Awards, right? Nobody's going to watch these awards.
No. I also want to point out, like, Asim has a family. Like, he has a wife and child from whom he's taken the time to, like, do research into Filmfare Awards.
Oh God, my poor Begum.
Andy runs his own company, so it's not like he's doing it on his lawyer's time, like the rest of us might.
So on the website, they've already announced the winners for the technical awards.
Well, we are not doing the technical awards. We are just doing best. We are not doing the critics' best film either, right? Like
nobody in India gives a damn about critics, so we're not doing them either. We're doing best film, best director, best male. Best male, best female, best supporting male, supporting female, and best music. What I would suggest is we keep the best music as a tiebreaker. If we draw up like we're kind of like have the same points, there are two winners, we'll use best music as the tiebreaker. I think that makes sense, right?
Okay.
But we'll go.
Okay, let's go.
Go. Amrita, go first. So the nominations for the best films are Chichore, Gully Boy, Mission Mangal, Uri, and War. Amrita, what do you think is going to win here?
So I feel like the mass choice would be Uri, the Surgical Strike, but Gully Boy went to Oscars. So and also Ranveer Singh will show up at anything and dance. So I think Gully Boy
will win best film. Okay, Beth, what do you think?
Uri.
Uri? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Joe, why do you think Uri? Have you seen Uri, by the way?
No, but also, look at the year that we've had. It's going to be something patriotic.
Beth, how many movies have you seen in the last year? Like Bollywood? Because I feel
God, it's been so dire. I've seen so very few.
Okay, good. This is going to bode really, really well.
Yeah.
So, Joy, what about you? What do you think is going to win?
I want Gully Boy to win, but I will choose Uri.
Oh God, you're all so wrong. It's definitely War. War is gonna win because Filmfare will have Hrithik and Tiger dance off. If you don't know this, you don't understand the public. War. I'm going with War. Let's do the same round then. Is that okay, Amrita? Or should we go the other way around? I think we don't care enough to impose new rules, right?
I don't think. Yeah, no. I think.
Shall I read out the nominations?
Hrithik is gonna win. I think Hrithik is gonna win the best actor. Oh wait, do you want me to read out the nominations for best actor?
Yes, please. Yes.
Okay, the nominations for best actor are Akshay Kumar for Kesari, Ayushmann Khurrana for Bala, Hrithik Roshan for Super 30, Ranveer Singh for Gully Boy, Shahid Kapoor for Kabir Singh, Vicky Kaushal for Uri. So nobody likes Vicky Kaushal enough to give him that. And even if he comes and he dances all night, like nobody will really, like he doesn't have the star power to like attract people. They'll probably want to give it to either Ranveer or Shahid just because they love him. But Hrithik has the big comeback of the year and they love Hrithik. So they're going to give it to Hrithik for Super 30. And also he had the accent, the Bihari accent. So definitely.
Yeah. I have the same pick as you. I also am going with
same.
Hrithik. You're going with Hrithik too?
Same logic.
Sujoy?
I'll go with Hrithik.
What did you pick, dude? Don't change your vote now because he convinced you.
Asim, show your notes now.
Now you need the bookies, right?
No, I'll pick. Okay, let's spice it up. I'll pick Ranveer for Gully Boy.
Okay, good. Okay. Let's go with best female. Beth, maybe you go first. I'll give you the nominations, which are Alia Bhatt in Gully Boy, Kangana Ranaut in Manikarnika, Kareena Kapoor Khan in Good News, Priyanka Chopra in The Sky is Pink, Rani Mukherjee Mardani 2, and Vidya Balan in Mission Impossible. Mission Mangal.
I would watch that.
That would be a good movie, right?
Yeah.
I think the allure of Foreign Returned is too strong to resist, and it will go to Priyanka.
Ooh, okay. So, Joy, what do you think? I'm going to ask you first before you change your vote like last time.
I'll pick Alia Bhatt.
Alia Bhatt? Okay.
I'll pick Alia Bhatt for Gully Boy, yeah.
Amrita?
Wait, what?
I'll pick Alia Bhatt for Gully Boy.
Okay. Yeah, I also think it's going to be Alia for Gully Boy because Karan Johar is going to do his Machiavelli stuff. And also Kangana Ranaut is nominated for the critics' best female actor. So she won't she won't complain too much about not getting this one. So
she will find a way to
although
complain.
Beth is like
Also, she's very vocally against Filmfare. So
no, but she still wants it. That's why she's vocally against it. But Beth makes a good point about Priyanka, but I think like Karan is like solidly behind Alia, so I think Alia's gonna get it.
Yeah. I don't think they'll be able to fly over Priyanka for the Filmfare. I think that's the only reason. Like all of these reasons, it's nothing to do with movies or performances. It's about logistics and dance performance, right? So Priyanka has no song, and she's not gonna bring Joe Jonas unless she gets really. She's married to Joe Jonas, right? Which one Jonas is she married to? Joe? Is it Joe?
Nick Jonas.
Nick. Oh, okay. Yeah. Nick. See, I don't even know, man. I don't know what I'm doing here. There is a Joe Jonas, right? Or have I invented this?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So yeah, they're not going to pay for 2 tickets. It's too expensive. So Vidya Balan has no song, so she can't win. Rani has no song, so she can't win. Kareena might have and Kangana might have, but I'm also going with Alia Bhatt because I think Gully Boy is one of those movies that will win less awards that we want to win. This is like, obviously if we would be like choosing, we would say Gully Boy wins most of the awards, but this is the Filmfare, it's not our choice. So they're gonna give like the lesser important awards to Gully Boy, and I think in Filmfare minds the female performance is the lesser award, but still has a bit of that cachet. So Alia will probably get that one. So Joy, let's go with the best supporting role male. You've got Diljit Dosanjh, is that how you pronounce it? Gulshan Devia from Mard Ko Dar Nahi Hota, Manoj Pawa from Article 15, Ranveer Shore for Sonchiriya, Siddhant Chaturvedi for Gully Boy, Vijay Verma for Gully Boy.
I think Manoj Pawa should win, but Siddhant Chaturvedi will win.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay. Amrita? Sorry, Beth?
I'm going with Ranveer Shore again for his Twitter performance more than his acting.
Yeah, I was kind of like, I was a bit torn, but I think because Siddhant Chaturvedi is kind of up and coming and he has Bunty and Bubbly coming out, he'll probably win this one. I'm such a cynic, man. It has really nothing to do with movies.
No, I saw Siddhant Chaturvedi like hanging out with Karan Johar's kids and Noni Pandey.
Yeah.
So I am 100% certain he's gonna win.
Yeah.
He is like Mr. Hustle at the moment, right?
Yeah. See, that's why I respect him, man. He's grafting. He's making it happen. The only thing that was stopping me, and again, I think like they're not done with shooting Bubbly and Bunty and Bubbly too, so they don't have a song yet. So I don't know what they'll make him dance to. So that's where I was kind of stuck. But they have, Aya Sher or whatever, that song. So they could still get him to do that, which is a crowd pleaser. That song is massive, right? So that could be something. Amrita, best actor in a supporting role female. Okay. Amrita Singh in Badla. Amrita Subhash in Gully Boy. Was she playing the mom? I don't know who that is. Okay.
Yeah.
Kamini Kaushal in Kabir Singh. I don't know who she played. Madhuri Dixit Kalank. Seema Pawa in Bala. And Zaira Wasim in The Sky is Pink. What do you think?
I think Madhuri Dixit for Kalank, just so they can make her do Kathak on the stage.
Oh, that's a very strong reason. Yeah. That would actually make me watch that on YouTube. That's a good one. And she hasn't won something in a while too, right? So it's kind of like could be. Beth, what do you think?
That's my vote as well for the same reason.
Okay. Sujay?
I don't want to win, so I'm gonna pick Amrita Singh.
Okay. Actually, I gotta say, I'm also picking Amrita Singh. And the reason is because it will be promotion for Love Ajkal 2. That's why she'll be having shots with, with her daughter.
They might actually make her and Sarah make an appearance and make them dance together.
Ooh, that I don't think Amrita Singh would be up for, but photo shoots and all that I'm seeing for sure. I was actually... No, we'll talk about this later. Okay, two left, right? We've got Best Director. So we have...
Music.
Yeah, that's going to be the tiebreaker. So we're going to do Best Director first, which is Aditya Dar for Uri, Jagan Shakti from Mission Mangal, Nitesh Tiwari for Chichore, Siddharth Anand for War, and Zoya Akhtar for Gully Boy. What do you guys think? Let's go with Beth. What do you think there?
I think that's where War will get its prize. So yeah, Siddharth Anand.
Okay. Good. Amrita, what do you think?
So I haven't chosen Uri for anything else, and Aditya Dhar won the national award. So I think he's going to win it for Uri.
Okay. Sujoy?
I've got Zoya Akhtar. I clearly don't know how to play this game.
Fully हारने का plan है सुजय का fully हारने का plan.
No, like Zoya should win. But like but no.
But like she's like the filmy inner circle, so I don't know what Jitesh Pillai has on his mind.
Yeah. I'm actually kind of like on board with what Amrita is saying, that because director is like a weird category. They try to show that they are relevant, that they have put some thoughts in it, and the director category is the one they try to. So that's why I was thinking they might give it to Aditya Dar or even to Nitesh Tiwari as like an upset. But I have to.
Nobody's upset. Nobody's going to be fucking upset they didn't win the Filmfare.
Well, 3 of us in this episode are going to be upset when no one doesn't win. But I'm going to stay on brand and stay on the fact that Filmfare is the most despicable and unreasonable and commercial sellout award, and I'm going to give it to Siddharth Anand for War again. So I'm going to stick to my guns. Okay, final one then. This is the tiebreaker. So let's see what this one is. So we've got Best Music Album. So I'll just read the names of the albums because there's like 70 people here, which is absurd. I'm not going to do all that effort. They didn't put the effort in doing the music, so I'm not going to do the effort in, reading their names out loud. So we got the Best Music Album, which is Gully Boy, Kabir Singh, Kalank, Kesari, and Bharat. Sujoy, you're the most musical minded of us, so this should be the one you fight to in the tiebreaker, although you'll never get into the category of breaking any tie with your other picks.
Just give me a moment. Okay, I really have no clue. Okay, so Kalank is not a T-series album, so I don't think that will win. Kabir Singh is a T-series album, so that might win. But I want to vote for Gully Boy, but I will go with Kabir Singh.
Okay. Amrita, what do you think?
So Kabir Singh is actually a very hit album. I know this because I have like Amazon Prime Music, like in India, and like it's on the most played list. It's been on that for like ages. So, but I think Gully Boy is going to win it because Gully Boy is still on the list and it's been like a year since it released. And also like they have to give Gully Boy something. So I think the music is what they're going to give it.
Beth, what do you think?
I also picked Gully Boy more because I think it'll be a great chance for them to do something horrendously culturally appropriative with hip hop. Sort of visuals on the stage. Like there might be blackface. I don't know. So I vote for Gully Boy.
Oh, I love how much you're like me. You have no respect whatsoever for the Filmfare Awards that they might actually.
No, I'm not.
That's so on point. I'm actually also going with Kabir Singh because I have seen how many dreadful off-key guitar acoustic versions of Be Khayali there are on YouTube. Kabir Singh is going to take it because I think your logic is true about Gully Boy, but it applies to Kabir Singh that it's not going to win any prestigious award because it's a massive success, but it is kind of toxic too. So they're going to give these lesser awards to them, and music might be the one.
I think best music will be sponsored by TikTok. So it will be definitely Kabir Singh.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Perfect. I think this was fun. I'm looking forward to it. I'll tally everybody's names into an Excel sheet because I'm, front bencher and an overachiever here. You feeling good? Beth, you feeling good about your picks? You feeling confident?
I feel slightly more confident than I did going in. Because now that I know that Joy didn't pick until just now, I feel like I might beat him. I know I won't beat you, Awesome, but
You can comfortably beat me.
I might not lose. Yeah.
Amrita, are you feeling confident of your choices?
Yeah, why not? I mean, I don't think even Filmfare knows what they're doing. So why should I do it?
It might all change on the night, depending on who is turning up.
Shows up. Yeah.
And you guys know my fuel is ego and false bravado, so I'm super confident anyway, right? So it doesn't. Let's move on to our main review, which is Main Hoon Na. Did we forget anything or did we cover everything?
No, let's go for it.
Yeah.
मैं चाहता हूं कि तुम दार्जिलिंग जाओ अंडरकवर
तुम वही केमिस्ट्री टीचर हो ना?
जी नहीं, मैं स्टूडेंट हूँ।
What?
Check that.
I just noticed that there is a Best Debut Director award, and Aditya Dhar is nominated for that. Wait, can I change my my vote?
Go on.
What are you going for?
Zoya Akhtar. I'm going to go for Zoya Akhtar.
You're going for Zoya
For the
Akhtar?
same reasons as Joy.
Okay.
Huh.
Yeah,
because if there's a best debut, then Aditya Dhar is going to win that for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a lock-in for that one for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
We'll change. We shall allow it. Main Hoon Na came out in 2004. It stars Shahrukh Khan, Sushmita Sen, Suneil Shetty, Zayed Khan. I do not understand why Zayed Khan is this movie. I've watched this movie so many times and I never understand it. And my second favorite Amrita in the world, which is Amrita Rao. So the plot description for the people that haven't watched this movie, I think everybody has. I'm getting this from IMDb, written by El Hamre. An army major goes undercover as a college student. His mission is both professional and personal: to protect his general's daughter from a radical militant and to find his estranged half-brother. I think that's a good plot summary. It's hard to summarize a movie. This is so typical masala. Directed by Farah Khan, one of my favorite directors. Where do we even start with this, right? Like, Beth, let's start with you. I mean, this came out we all remember this movie, I feel, but I think it, like, after meme culture and, Twitter, I feel Om Shanti Om has kind of overshadowed Main Hoon Na to a certain degrees. How did it feel for you revisiting Main Hoon Na after a bit of time, I imagine, right? Or is this something you watch every year?
I've seen it a bunch, but it's been, I want to say it's been like 8 or 9 years since I saw it last. And I was a little nervous because I have loved this film so much. And I thought, oh, it's not going to hold up. There's just no way. Especially when I think back, like Happy New Year was bad. Bad. That's
so
that's
bad.
the last, having that as your last Farah Khan movie, even though that was quite some time ago now too. But I was thrilled at how well I thought this held up. I thought the funny parts were still really funny. I thought some of the effects aren't what we remember, but the drama still worked, relatively, putting aside the acting or not by various people. But, like the cast, except for Zayed, is super strong.
Yeah.
The combination of elements is spot on. She knows exactly what she's doing. It's so confidently done. And it's pretty perfect, I think, even still.
I still enjoyed it, I think. It was just like, it was comforting. Do you know what I mean? Like, it is like all the beats that I recognized, and the problematic bits were obviously there still, but like it was like meeting like friends from high school or something. It was just like, oh yeah, like, and then this happened, and then this happened, and it's like, yeah, I remember that you used to do this, and I remember, like, you know, you were good at that, and it was like very comforting to just sort of sit through, and like I found like my head sort of switching off at times, which is like very nice, especially in this mahal, so to speak.
This is like very old school masala to a certain degree, right?
Yeah,
like something that we almost doesn't exist anymore. How did it feel kind of revisiting that kind of cinema?
Yeah, it's like a very welcome feeling. It was a very it feels like a warm hug back into the era of cinema where it just it's like a time capsule. It transports me to that era of I don't know. There was less concern about technical aspects because we see them falter a lot in that, but they are totally relying on Shah Rukh's star power. Then there's melodrama, the Ma Beta, and the dad dying, Kabir Bedi's failed parentage, and everything, all of that coming together. And then there's like nostalgia with R.D. Burman, and all of those elements being juggled perfectly and in sync. And for a debutant director, how confident is that, to be able to execute all of that in such a consumable, repeatedly watchable movie. And it also took me back to like the first trailers that came out for this movie, and it was shown like Shahrukh Khan being of a certain age going back to school, and that was the marketing sort of images that were splashed around, wearing those retro bell bottoms and the Austin Powers music playing. Yeah, that was something really vividly I can remember those. And also, I think I remember Farah Khan being interviewed on a talk show hosted by the late Farooq Sheikh it was called Jeena Isi Ka Naam Hai, and the entire cast of Main Hoon Na, they were still making it, and Amrita Rao and Zayed Khan and Shahrukh Khan appeared on there, and they were talking, praising Farah as a director and all of that. All of those memories came back to me when I was watching this movie.
Was this the first Red Chillies movie?
No.
Yeah, was it? No, I don't know.
I was kind of trying to figure out because this came out just before Kal Ho Na Ho and then Chalte Chalte. And as I think I remember, Chalte Chalte was the last Dreams Unlimited project they did. And then they disbanded it, if I'm not mistaken. So it might be that this was the first Red Chillies, no? Unless you know of any other?
Well, I think on Wikipedia it says this is the first release from Red Chillies. Before this, it was Dreams Unlimited, yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, I think this is also an age thing again, because we are of that age that it doesn't feel that long ago. But if there was a baby born on the day Main Hoon Na released, he would be drinking and driving in 2020, right? If my math is correct. So yeah. So it has been quite a while, and I think you can definitely see it in the terrible, terrible fashion choices that the people have. Especially the men look so bad, like so badly dressed. And we have all of that to blame to Karan Johar, it seems, apparently, right? In the making of movies. He dressed all the men or just Shah Rukh?
Then there's, I think, Manish Malhotra dressed Sushmita.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's there.
But they look
Which
great. I think the women all look great. But yeah, the men just look horrible. I think we're going to be quite praiseworthy about this movie generally, right? So maybe we should start about the things that feel really, really outdated. Maybe that's kind of a good kind of. And we also have to say this was the first movie that Red Chillies did. This was the first movie Farah was doing. Like Shah Rukh came out of the failure of Dreams Unlimited. Now Red Chillies is massive, but this was the first movie. So I do feel that they were playing it safe. And definitely in terms of budget, I feel, especially when you compare it with Om Shanti Om, you can definitely feel that they didn't have as much money and budget to play around. But they did, splurge on a lot of elements in the movie. I would say, like, the amount of extras that are in the movie, and just how many background artists there are, the bullet time technology that they use, which was new for Bollywood. I'd not seen it done to that effect in Bollywood. And we have to remember that when Matrix came out, like, everybody was doing wireworks, Hollywood and Bollywood, it was like big thing. And like, remember Rudraksh that came out, right? The whole thing was supposed to be mythological matrix, that's what it was. Like, I feel the action does not hold up at all. Like, it's very, very outdated, especially because it's so reliant on that wire work. I think, Sujoy, even you were posting some screenshots of like the way Shahrukh is falling and stuff like that, which just looks odd now.
His entire body is horizontal.
Yeah,
when he's falling, it's amazing. He's mid-air, completely horizontal, and the villain is swinging his hand. It's just funny.
And I think when you look at it at the post-Matrix wirework thing, it makes sense what they were trying to do, because we just accepted that this was a melodramatic way of showing action, but now it just looks really, really weird. Beth, anything for you that felt you're not happy about, or feels really outdated, kind of coming back to it?
The opening exchanges and stuff at the talk show. Once that was out of the way, I was fully in, and I don't remember that sequence making me go, nah, before. So I don't know if it's just time passing, but I think I know we have even shoutier people on TV now, but there was something about that host that didn't age well to me, the way the audience, like the way they had the audience area looking, and the just, I don't know. I felt like I feel like I remember that at times Naseeruddin Shah has like shot off his mouth about hating mainstream Indian films and stuff, and I was like, buddy, I see you in this movie. Like, we all see you when you do these things, and I don't fault you for doing them, but then you can't go and be such a jerk about it. But I felt like he was kind of not in the same movie as some of the other people. And I forgot to say when we started, I'm not a Suneil Shetty fan. So you get these two people who aren't really doing their best in that first sequence, and that's a little rough. However, it's very offset by the hero entry, which is hilarious. And the way she plays the line between, or has one foot each in serious and not serious, is masterful. So that helps a lot. Once Shahrukh shows up, that sequence gets better. But the first couple minutes are a little, I don't want to say that they're stumbling, but they don't work for me as well as I remember them working. But really, once that sequence is done, I thought it was just pretty excellent.
I think it also sets your expectation. Like, this is the universe that you are buying into.
Very much.
The studio floors are a bit wobbly, so mind your step.
There's Farah just does this. She just says, here's the movie you're watching. You will suspend your disbelief right now. Let's go. And for most of us, we do. And she's very good at that. And the quick layout of, this was my father, and then that also, I've got a long lost brother, and there's death, and I'm going to go here, and then there's another daughter, and there's a bad parent, and there's a terrorist, and there's blah, 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 blah. Like, it's just boom in the first 20 minutes, and then you're off.
Yeah. Amrita, you were also talking about some problematic elements. I think those kind of also creep in within the 21st minutes of this movie, right?
They go on for like quite a bit. Like, there's that whole thing about how she's too ugly because she dresses like a boy, and she doesn't even dress like a boy.
Yeah, that was
like
such
Christina
a weird
Aguilera. Like she's dirty, Christina.
Exactly. And they're just like, oh, she's like nasty. Like, who would ever date her?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what? What are you even talking
It's
about?
the least convincing makeover sequence I've ever seen. They just basically wash her hair. That's it.
Doesn't even have glasses to take off.
No paint stains, no glasses, nothing. It's crazy.
No.
Yeah.
The one thing that I noticed is like Amrita Rao acts like exactly like Aishwarya Rai. Have you noticed? Like her dialogue delivery is exactly like Aishwarya's.
Yeah, definitely.
Like
now that
her
you say
dialogue
it, yes.
delivery in this film, like in this film, and like Aishwarya in Dhoom.
Yeah.
Like it's the exact same tone, the exact same.
Like you mean poor,
everything.
right? Like Aishwarya has poor dialogue delivery. That's what you're trying to say.
Say it as it is.
Asim just wants to be like run out of town.
Khul ke bolo.
But yeah, like she has the exact same like dialogue delivery, and apparently like it's funny that Sujoy was talking about Jeena Isi Ka Naam Hai and the whole cast coming out and like singing praises of Farah, because apparently Farah was really mean to Amrita throughout the shooting of this film, like horrendously mean. So, you know, I don't know. But just to go back to like what Beth was saying about Naseeruddin Shah and like how he like, you know, it's not like he doesn't have a masala movie register, because we've all seen Tridev and we know that he can do that.
Right.
We have also seen Tehelka.
Exactly. Yep. But I think like what he was trying to do, I think the role that he was hired to play in this movie is the one that he did in Masoom. Yeah. And therefore like that is the register at which he played Masoom, you know?
Apparently he was supposed to take on Suneil Shetty's role, but he was engaged with the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen at that time.
Oh, yeah, that worked out well.
Yeah, exactly. Like, stoner choices, man. What can you do? Like, it's all like...
I would have preferred that, actually. I think he would have been more fun as the villain.
And I agree with you. I'm not a huge Suneil Shetty fan either.
I mean, who is a huge Suneil Shetty fan? Like, I would like to meet this.
I asked Twitter about this, and apparently nobody. Because I thought, okay, I've seen none of his 90s work. Like, that's the last thing I'm ever going to go back and watch from the 90s. People sent me very amazing song sequences where he tries to dance, but like nobody seems to be missing him.
Yeah.
I feel a little bit bad for him.
If I remember correctly, like, did he finance his own debut movie? Like, Sujoy, like, do you remember?
Oh. No idea.
No, I don't think
I feel like
I only heard like he was in a textile business or something, and was well to do. And
Chaudhary and Sons.
Not textile.
सब बाहर जाता है. No, but I do know that he's a very savvy businessman. That's the only part I know about Suneil Shetty.
Which is funny because, like, I've actually, like, I remember, like, when I was in the late 90s, my Bombay friends would take me to his store. The one that, like, he had this fashion store, sort of like a knockoff Forever 21 sort of a place. And I just remember, like, it was terrible. Like, the clothes were just terrible.
Is that before he became a star or an actor, or?
No, it's after. It's after he became a star. Like he never quit his business. Like he had a business and then he came and started acting. And I have a feeling like he financed his debut movie and that's how he became an actor. Like he just wanted to be an actor and he would do anything it took to become an actor. And then and he used to do his stunts and he was like, you know, he was sort of like this muscle man sort of a thing. He used to have these giant muscles and he used to work out a lot. And this was, I think, slightly before like Salman became known for that and sort of made it popular. So he was like sort of making these B movies where he was like playing a muscle man.
Yeah, but like kind of like we're talking about muscles, so now we're in my territory. Just to kind of like while Amrita is busy, he's got these useless betuke muscles, like Sunny Deol. Like, we all keep hearing how strong he is and he has these muscles, but you never get to see them. Like, Salman just came in with, shirtless pecs, and he's like, this is how muscles should be. These are useful muscles. Like, Suneil Shetty and Sunny Deol have, like, pointless muscles. Like, Mazduri muscles. They have Mazduri muscles. Like,
just built muscle out of lifting hand pumps and shit.
Yeah, lifting hand pumps and like jumping over tractors or whatever. That stunt I remember from his movie that he stole from, I think, Hard Target, where he's on a bike and then the Jeep is coming and then they collide, and then he flips over the Jeep. And I think they redid that in his first movie or his second movie. I remember that. It was quite impressive. So, yeah, and then also I think we also need to talk about how the political landscape has changed, right? To a certain degree, like that we cannot not talk about that. This is the Khandaan podcast after all. It is funny because this was this interbellum period where there were people, both Pakistan and India were working towards peace. And now it seems that the countries are... Raghavan is now the norm. His thinking has now become the norm, especially in India. So it was just a very interesting, time period to be where he was supposed to be the villain with the way he was thinking and doing. And now it just seems to be, this is what people are thinking now, So that kind of like made me sad that there was this period one time, like in a way it's like America now, like you almost forget there was a period with Obama when you have Trump now, right? So it's maybe we're going to be feeling that when we're in the third term of Trump in 8 years or something like that. There was a time, there was hope,
I think I'd rather talk about Naseeruddin Shah. Like, yeah, I think the reason why there's a tonal difference between Nasir and the rest of the film is not because he's not putting in the effort, because I think Nasir would put in the effort because I think he genuinely likes Shah and he must have some sort of relationship with Farah, considering that his son debuted with her. So I don't think that's a problem, and I think like she basically told them that you have to play the dad from Masoom, and so that's who he played.
That was a bad pitch for Farah to go with Masoom.
No, but like I think this entire film is like, so there's this theory, right? I forget who said it first, but there's this theory that somebody once said that I thought was like really smart, that a director's first film is like their best film because it is their most purest and their most beloved creation, because they've
I know who said that.
Who said it?
Imtiaz Ali.
Okay.
Amrita immediately takes all the words back.
No, because you know what? Imtiaz Ali's first film actually is his best film. Like, I really like that film a lot. So points to him. But like, it's true of Farah Khan too. Like, Main Hoon Na is like the least cynical of her films, I feel. Like, it really is. Like, she made that film, I think like she wasn't sure if she'd ever get to make that film again, or like another film again. So she's got all the things that she loves in it.
Yeah, and there's hardly any like punching down or being mean to people, or like that we get to see in Om Shanti Om or even Happy New Year.
I mean, she's not an asshole while she was making this film, whereas like in Om Shanti Om and Happy New Year, I think she did become like a bit of an asshole. And also I think like maybe like Zayed Khan was writing more of those movies, whereas like this one, I think like she wrote more of it than anybody else.
Yeah, and I also think what we know Farah of is her love for like classic, masala Bollywood movies, and I think a lot of that is contained in Main Hoon Na without it being overt or cynical, what she started to doing in Om Shanti Om. I think the Masoom pitch is definitely an idea, but not just because because she loved Masoom probably and grew up with it or liked it, then just telling Nasir, we just want you to be the guy that was just in the 80s and creating illegitimate children everywhere. It does have a theme also about, bad fathers with unrealistic expectations in this movie, because that's also what Kabir Bedi is. Like it's like completely absurd what what he's trying to do with Amrita Rao's character.
Mujhe beta chahiye tha.
Yeah, but then he's already over it too. But then he's also like totally manipulating Shahrukh, because he says, "You can't have leave, I need you, but now you have to go to Amrita Rao's college to protect her as a bodyguard. But, surprise, surprise, your brother's going to be there." Dude, just like approve his leave and tell him his brother is there and it's fine.
It's like a bloody Jerry Springer show.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, Kabir, chill the hell out, man.
Oh, by the way, did you guys notice that Kabir Bedi has got this grey beard with the pagdi and all throughout the movie, but for the Project Milap scene at the border, he's got his entire beard dyed. It's completely different. And his beard is like much longer and jutting out. It really stands out.
What also is cool in this movie is how all of the Shahrukhs we get all of them in this one movie, right? We get sexy Shahrukh, action Shahrukh, comedy Shahrukh. We get fish hook eyebrow Shahrukh. We get teary-eyed Shahrukh. We get trembling finger wagging Shahrukh. We get all of them, like all. This is the most.
We get one tuka for Shahrukh as well.
Yeah, we get all of them, like, and he's delivering, man. He brings it. Like it's crazy how good he is in this movie. And
I had completely forgotten that they had the scene where Shahrukh is like completely in awe of Sushmita and he's like, "Main to nanna munna rahi hu." That completely
I'm actually like, I'd forgotten how mad I am that like Shahrukh and Sushmita never did another film together, because I really enjoyed the two of them in this movie.
Yeah, they're really, really good together. And we also get Shahrukh with a sad mother scene, which is Shahrukh is so good at that, which also made me think this is also like this movie also gives us the first Boman Irani and Kirron Kher roles that they've now become famous for, right? Like Boman was in Munna Bhai, but like this kind of solidified now the kind of roles Boman does. And Kirron Kher both of them had been acting for a long time, but the Kirron Kher we know now, this is the first glimpse we get of that loud mother role, and we get it when she's, with Zayed Khan, ke tune baal kyun nahi kaate, and all that kind of thing. It's the first time we kind of seeing those kind of roles that they took on. So it is kind of a trendsetter in a lot of different ways. Yeah, Sushmita is great in this. I think this might be her most loved role out of all of her film career, which is very, very spotty at the least. We've discussed it and in our previous, what was that? The Salman Khan, BV number 1, right? That's when we talked about her. It's not a great career, let's just say that. But this was probably her most loved role. And basically the size...
So apparently there's like film history behind it that Farah Khan choreographed her in Sirf Tu for, again, the nipple song, Dilbar Dilbar. And she was so impressed by her that she promised her that in her debut movie, she would cast Sushmita, and she was not expecting that phone call, and she got cast in this movie as Miss Chandni.
I have to say, Farah did really well by Sushmita in this film. This is possibly like the best that Sushmita has ever looked.
I feel like I didn't think that she was inappropriate in the film in any way, but I did feel she was in an extended shampoo commercial rather than a movie with a narrative for a lot of it. And that's not necessarily her fault, because she doesn't actually have much to do until the prom.
I think her film
basically disappears.
I think her film contract reads like, "Sushmita, are you coming with your own wind machine?"
Yeah.
So well deployed. Like her wind machine team gets all the praise.
Yeah, the only 2 times they get a break is when they're having that sensual wet hair moment. When she gets to know that Major Ram is Major Ram, and then secondly when she's kidnapped with the kids. Those are the only 2 times I don't see like the constant wind blowing on her.
Yeah,
which is quite hilarious.
I remember like this movie came out and I was living in New York, and I showed it to like this Latin American friend of mine, and we were both watching it, and he was enjoying it a lot. And then he was like, turned to me and he was like, "Where is all this wind coming from?"
Yeah. I love it.
And I was like, it's movie wind. It just shows up.
Yeah, and it's only on her. She's like in classroom and there's people around her, but the wind is only blowing on her hair. It's so cool. It's amazing.
The way Farah makes visible things that are, the emotions and thoughts is so funny. It's so funny. She's so good at that.
And the other character we've not talked about yet is Bindu, which I think she is amazing in this, right? And
hilarious. Funnily
enough, because I was just talking about her on the Movie Wala podcast, because she also has like a little role in Shan. She's one of they steal a necklace out of her. From her neck, and she's dancing like super disco dancing young Bindu, looking like like a super hot auntie. And it's cool to see her in this role, being I think it's a really, really good role, and I love the Binduism she dropped. My favorite is still what did she say? Meet me in the backside after my period is done. That's like oh my god, that is.
These are like every single one of those jokes is like something from like 1985. You know, it is like one of those naughty jokes that you would say at school in like 1985. Like I was like Farah, like you should really thank like your schoolmates in the credits. But like Bindu is a legend. Like not enough people show her the love and respect that she is due, because like she got married when, do you remember that? Like she got married when she was like 16, 17 or something.
Yeah, really young, yeah.
To a man who was like old enough to be her dad. And then she was like, I want to be an actor. And he was like, okay. And so she became a vamp. And so she was like married. She was married to like somebody like super respectable and famous, right? Or like from a famous family.
Yeah.
And then she was like, no. And they were like a Gujarati, like conservative Hindu family. And then she was like, nope, I'm going to go put on like a leotard and like, like shake my bum and be famous and be fabulous. And he was like, okay, like, I guess that makes sense because you were like a baby when I married you. So she went out there and she became a vamp, and she was like super successful and everybody knew who she was. And what I loved about her, like, is she like really like was her own person. Like, she didn't try to be Helen or like one of the other girls. She was herself, and I really enjoyed her. Yeah. And she was a good actor too. Like, she didn't get many chances to act, but like the few roles like in Abhiman that she did, she was like really good in them.
Yeah. I'm looking at her bio, and she was, I know we've just pooed all over the film fairs, but it is kind of amazing. She was nominated for Best Supporting Actress 6 times in the 70s.
But then it meant something, the film fairs. Then it still meant something to be nominated at that time. No, like now they're useless, but I feel at that time they still meant something.
Seven times in 10 years. Wow.
But like nobody like, like on Twitter and stuff, like nobody is like dying for Bindu the way they die for Helen. And I always think like that's a little unfair to like her. And I love that Farah like went out of her way. And like Farah does this for a lot of character actors and like yesteryear people. And SLB does it too. Like Sanjay Leela Bhansali does it as well. But I think Farah makes much better use of them. Like, she like really, she uses them in like a really fun way, and she like gives them like a new lease of life almost. And I really enjoy it.
And then we can quickly talk also just about the terribleness that is Zayed Khan. Like,
there are no surprises why his career didn't take off.
Yeah, like I was just thinking of him. He's so lucky he missed the whole nepotism debate, because he is all of the worst of that debate personified is in Zayed Khan.
Can I tell you something I've just learned that I find amazing? So I thought, well, surely he won Filmfare Best Debut, right? Because it's always a nepotistic award. There was no Best Male Debut the year he debuted.
They just nixed the category.
But there's not male.
Wow. That's amazing.
Special, like he's so bad that they didn't even the category in for him. And that same year, Ayesha Takia won for Tarzan, the Wonder
Oh my god! So he was not even Tarzan Wonder Car good enough. Like he's that bad.
Yeah. No.
Like that scene he has where he's like talking to his dad, right? Dad, where are you? It's so bad. It's so bad, and it is like a classic Bollywood masala scene, right? We've seen all heroes do this, from Amitabh to Shahrukh. Everybody has done that scene. Even Salman has done it. Everybody, and he cannot pull it off. It is just so terrible. I don't understand that hair. I don't know why he's dressed that way. And the thing that's also, I remember when I watched it in 2004, I could really pick up on a lot of the references because they took like that whole karate thing he's doing, like the Karate Kid thing. That is definitely taken from another movie, but I can't remember anymore because it's been 16 years. But I did remember in 2004 when I watched it, they basically ripped this part off. And he's just bad. He can't do anything. He's just like the worst part of this movie is Zayed Khan. I'm so glad we don't see his face anymore on screen. It's so bad. I mean, we can't talk about this movie without the songs of it. I mean, there's amazing songs. I prefer Main Hoon Na to Om Shanti Om, and I prefer the soundtrack of this movie to Om Shanti Oms. This was composed by harasser Anu Malik, and it has...
I really appreciate you, Asim.
Thank you. I do to you too. And we also have a professional bigot, Abhijit, singing a lot of the songs. So we need to take all of that into context. But the first song is Chale Jaise Hawai, which is amazing song, right? Like this whole song is shot in 2 one-shot sequences, and like Sam Mendes could never. Like, like that's how good it is.
Not with the amount of extras and all.
Yeah. No, but Sam Mendes didn't. It's not one shot, that movie. It looks one shot, but it's not one shot. This is actually one shot. But the choreography is so bad, and I don't know if it's supposed to be a play on how bad college dances are, because that's exactly what it looks like. It's seriously bad. But Bollywood, you did Amrita Rao wrong, man. Like, she could have had a career. She is so good. Like, I love seeing her on screen.
Like, speaking of dancing, what I discovered is when they are preparing Shahrukh for the prom night, and the good dancers apparently are preparing him, they are worse than Shahrukh. Like, I was like, who the fuck are we kidding here?
Yeah. Why is he going to Percy to learn to dance? Like, the
bodybuilder is showing him to dance by flexing his bicep.
Yeah. I think that was Sunny. I think that was Sunny Deol they were trying to do, though, right? Like, I think.
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah. So, like, what are your favorite...
Can I ask a question about that song really quickly? The translation for the lyrics is really, really funny. And I'm wondering if the lyrics to people who speak the language do they read as sort of ironic or something? That you've got these kids dressed like Christina Aguilera who are singing about being a bumblebee? It doesn't add up aesthetically to me at all, which I have just assumed is on purpose and is funny. But maybe that's not. What am I missing? No. Tell me what I'm missing.
You're missing like the fact that Farah Khan has no idea of what is appropriate and what is not. Like, that's basically what it is.
Because the song has nothing to do with what the movie or anything that's happening or will happen in this movie, right? Yeah. Like, it has no relevance whatsoever.
You have to remember Karan Johar, Manish Malhotra, and Farah Khan. Like, these are the people who are in charge of like all the decisions in this film. Like, there is no logic of anything. Like, he's just like, this is what is in. Like, this is the like. It probably literally was like, Karan saw Christina Aguilera and was like, that looks hot, and like told Farah about it, and then Farah and Karan like told Manish to like design something like it, and then voila, That's how
And then,
you have.
and then poor Javed Akhtar writes these lyrics, which I assume are poetic,
Yes.
and you're like, this doesn't all fit together quite right.
They probably went to like Javed Akhtar and with like, oh, there's like a nice little song in the in the college where like everybody's like happy and like friendly and having a good time. And Javed Akhtar was like, oh, so wholesome and like oh, this really wholesome song. And then this is what we got.
Yeah.
Still love it.
What like after that? So the second song is, which is my least favorite song, is "Tu Kaha Main Yahan," which I feel it's like almost trying to be like a "Dil Chahta Hai" kind of thing, like things moving really fast and stuff like that. And it actually has the line "Brother, where art thou?" in it, which I just find so hilarious. I think that is one of those songs that could easily be cut off out of the movie. I don't think it brings too much to it. But
I thought that's just a musical montage. It's not officially part of the soundtrack.
Is it not?
It's just no, because Janeja is from Jawani Diwani, right? That song.
Yeah.
So,
okay. I
it's just a. Yeah, there's lots of R.D. Burman throwbacks here, so it's part of that kind of montage. So there's like Chand Mera Dil that Shahrukh sings to Sushmita, then Mil Gaya as well, and then Jaane Ja, Tu Kaha and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. So what is your guys' favorite song in the soundtrack? By the way, so Joy, maybe you can. What is your favorite song out of this?
Tumse Milke, the Qawwali song.
Yes.
That's just like visually and I just like Qawwalis, and we have. But I think by that time we hadn't seen a Qawwali in a very, very long time. And this was like the best of Shahrukh, the best of Sushmita, and it was amazing. I also like a lot of the other songs, but Tumse Milke just stands out so much.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's Tumse Milke and also Tumhe Jo Maine Dekha. Like, I think like it's so like they like really like it's like a really steamy, old fashioned like Bollywood romantic steamy song, and I really enjoy it.
When I was taking notes and I wrote down this line on Tujhe To Maine Jana, and I said I was writing this line, and the moment I say it, Amrita will say, "Asim, you cannot say that line anymore." And I was saying, I wrote down, Sushmita is serving looks, like looks, LEWKK.
I'm just happy that Asim is saying looks and not like looks.
Looks? I don't know how to pronounce it, man. But she is.
You gotta say Yasqueen after that as well.
I can't. I'm not allowed anymore. I'm not. I follow the rules imposed by my friend. I love those two songs. I mean, the tabla in Tumko, I'm now.
Tumse Milke.
Yeah, Tumse Milke. That tabla is so good. Like Sushmita and Amrita, because it's the song that follows Amrita Rao's makeover. So they look great. Like they look so good. And the guys look so bad. Like Zayed is like wearing these like, curtain pajamas and his stupid hair. He's not had the makeover yet. He's standing on a rock. And I'm just very happy. Like poor Amrita Rao, man. She has to start with this guy. Like this is her moment. This could have been a moment but she's sharing the screen with Zayed Khan. It just killed her career, man. It's not good. But then I'm very happy that they move on to the grown-up version, because Zayed Khan is so bad, he doesn't even deserve Sonu Nigam singing for him. Like, and then when Shahrukh comes in and Sonu Nigam is singing, it's like, now it makes sense why Sonu is singing this song.
Yeah.
Right? And I also love the ending of the song, because it's now GIF famous, but it's that, he's like holding Sushmita from the back, and like it's going dumta na dum, and they're like, they're walking, or like they're on a platform, and then he gives her a kiss, and she like has this expression. And I feel, Sujoy, you made a GIF of this, and if you haven't, you should, because it's really.
I have. And then she kisses him back, and Shahrukh's eyes pop out.
Yeah, it's a beautiful shot. I really like it. Tujhe To Maine Jana is just like, those sweet dulcet tones of bigotry of Abhijit. It just, lessens the song for me slightly bit. And I also like, maybe it's just because I don't like Abhijit now, that his trick of modulating his voice Like, that thing he does, it just annoys me after a while. So maybe it's just the bigotry shining through. Whatever he's doing. Yeah, my favorite is Main Hoon Na, the title track. I love that song, by the way. It's Sonu again, and it's such a beautiful song. And just like Shahrukh, because he says the line Main Hoon Na at least 40 times in the movie, but he says it 40 different times, and when he says it at that moment, it really kind of gets to you that he is there for his brother and his family and the friends. And poor Percy, man, that sequence with Percy always gets me, that he's like, at least look at me, you know, like nobody's looking at me, and Shahrukh gives him a little hug. I like that one a lot. Yeah. By the way, did you see in the notice board, there was a sign where Percy is giving karate classes to people. Learn karate in 7 days. Contact Percy. It's a detail that popped up, but hadn't popped up last time. And I was like, this is so funny. This is so Farah. So nobody's in there for Gori Gori?
I mean, I was just going to say, it's not my favorite, but it's only because it's in a movie full of these other amazing songs that it's not my favorite. Yeah. Like, it's very, very well done.
Have you noticed that both Zayed Khan and Farah Khan really love this period of rock and roll? Like that?
Yeah.
Because they
not just rock and roll, Bollywood rock and roll. Like, you know, the whole Shami Kapoor era of Beatlemania.
Yeah, with those like...
No, but they've talked about it, right? Like, that was their big escape from everything that was going on at home, because they were like super poor. Like, they were living on charity. They were living in like a slum. They didn't have like anything going for them. So like the movies were their big escape. Like that's how they sort of like made things more bearable.
Yeah, it's just that a look that they've both had, like that frizzled collared pirate shirt with the purple colors and the pink colors and stuff like that. They've like both, you know, he had that in Papa Ko, what is that? That Americano song that they ripped off in Houseful 2. Papa to band bajaye. Papa to band bajaye. Yeah, it's exactly the same look, and here he has the same look, and I think even in Om Shanti Om they have a certain sequence where they dress like this. So it's just funny that they both kind of love this, and then you also have the cameo by Zayed Khan in this. And Tabu also has a little shot in there, right? Which is
she sure does.
Which is almost weird. I don't know the connection between Tabu and Farah, but she's in there for a second. Not Farah, her sister.
Shabana, Shabana is Tabu's
Khala?
aunt.
Okay.
Tabu and Farah, like they're Shabana's nieces.
Okay.
And she's married to Javed Akhtar, who is Zoya and Farhan's dad. And they are her first cousins. Wow. Farah's first cousins. Yeah,
but I just mean like I don't understand the connect. Like it's not like Rani or Kajol appearing who has a connection with Shahrukh.
Right.
Like Tabu is amazing. We all love Tabu, but what is she doing in Om Shanti Om? I don't necessarily understand. But
so that's another thing that like makes me mad. Like Tabu and Shahrukh have acted together exactly once. It was that special appearance, and I just want them to be in like a grown-up movie. Like how amazing would it be?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like
I'm just thinking back how we're always wanting Shahrukh to get to do a grown-up movie with Dibakar Banerjee, and you could put Tabu in there, and that would be great.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Not for Asim, but like...
You do not have my cosign for Dibakar Banerjee, but all the rest I'm on board for. I kind of like shat on him on the Ghost Stories bit too when we were reviewing that. Beth, you weren't there, but yeah.
I remember.
I was directly talking to you, basically. I think we're done. I think anything else we want to talk about Main Hoon Na? I think we all...
I quickly want to mention Ye Fizaye, which is probably the first time some director featured their entire cast and crew in the end credits. And it was such a lovely thing to see. And like after all the events that happen in the movie, they end with that, and I remember exiting the cinema with a giant smile.
Yeah.
And even I get to see Shatisha and Bindu and everybody in the crew. It was even Rakhi Sawant.
But I have the thing that I find weird, because it's weird because I have to now agree with Abhijit, is that he got really, really offended by this, because he says you've had everybody in your movie, but none of the playback singers, which is odd when you think about it, right? Like none of them are featured in it. I get it, because it's a very separate location. Obviously, you have your cast and crew there, so you shoot this song, and like playbacks are in another thing. It's easier to just bring harasser Anu Malik there, but all of the singers. But it is an odd thing, and I understand that Avicii might have gotten a bit annoyed by that. So and I think actually it was not in Main Hoon Na, but it was in the one in Om Shanti Om that he got annoyed, because he sang songs in Om Shanti Om too, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he did. But yeah, it's beautiful, and it's such a fun way to end the movie, right? And it's a good one. I feel we didn't talk too much about the plot, but I don't think the plot is that important necessarily. It's just like a fun ride, this movie. So for me, it still holds up for sure.
Oh yeah, I would like to ask a question of everybody, which is, what is your favorite movie reference within this movie?
Oh, I have got one. The rickshaw being called Dhanno.
Yeah, that's pretty great. For me, it's the beginning of that, because obviously Sholay gets used all the time everywhere. And this is by far my favorite use of Sholay in another film, because it's not treated so seriously. And I love when the window rolls down with Gabbar's face. And then it's Murli Sharma. And I love Murli Sharma. I always want to see him be that guy for a few minutes. And it's just great.
Yeah, that's the one that I thought of too. That although obviously, like, it would cinematically more make sense if the reveal was Raghavan or Suneil Shetty compared to Murli Sharma, but he's the Gabbar of the movie to a certain degree. But I did like that way that it was shot, that the window goes down and his face is replaced for Murli Sharma's face. Yeah, that's the one I got. I mean, I also enjoy not the Bollywood references, but the clear John Woo references, because you have kabutars flying, you have clearly rip-offs from Mission Impossible 2, which I kind of enjoyed. But yeah, those are the ones that kind of stood out to me.
Do we know why Raghavan drives the Fiat?
Do we know why Raghavan anything? Like, why is his lair wet? Why is everything green? Why,
why the hair?
Why the eyes? Hair? Why are the eyes still from Rudraksh that he still was wearing the contact lenses, and Suneil Shetty doesn't know how to take out contact lenses? Is that what's happening?
I feel like the car
his
was
costumes, like... Sorry, go ahead, Amrita.
No, his costumes probably came from his shop. That's why they look like that.
That was exactly what I was about to say. That makes sense.
There's a lot of especially bad denim in this movie. We were talking about the bad fashions, and 2004 is not a great time when we look back. But I think that his jeans are maybe the worst offenders of anybody's. It's mostly the pants. I feel like it's mostly the trousers in this movie that are the the offenders. But
because also, why did they put Shahrukh in bell bottoms? It doesn't make that also didn't. Was funny. Yeah, it was funny, but it didn't make sense to me. Like when he's coming out of the train, he looks amazing. Like that is one of the best shots of Shahrukh ever. Like through that steam, and he's dressed perfectly fine. And then he's in college and he has these huge bell bottoms on. So maybe it was just
I think it's on purpose because he's been in the army and he doesn't know how to be a civilian at all. And he says that at some point. I forget what he's talking about. Is it making friends or dancing or something? But he doesn't know how to dress. I didn't even understand how old these kids were supposed to be. So I don't blame him for being confused.
But also, I think it's a thing about like how he doesn't know how like college kids dress. I think that was how, because he dresses like an uncle is basically what it is.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even know how civilians dress, right? Like he doesn't dress like the teachers. He doesn't dress like anybody else because he doesn't know. He's been in the army.
But it's hard to get bell bottoms in 2004. You need to go to a tailor to get them made, Like it's not like it's an easy choice. Like,
actually not. Like I remember there was a bell bottom phase. Like
no, that was earlier.
I don't remember if it was.
I do remember that was because Salman Khan was wearing in Love. No, not in Love. It was when he had those embroidered shirts. Then we were all into bell bottoms. Like at least the guys were. I remember that period really, really well. And you needed to have 24-inch bell bottoms people were rocking at that time. So it was a bit earlier. It was like mid 90s. Then that happened. Yeah.
No, I remember after that also because that was way before my time. But I remember in the late 90s, around the millennium, it was all bootcut. And then for a brief period of time, we strayed into bell bottoms, and then we went back to bootcuts, and then after a long time, it became skinnies.
Amrita, do you remember the Delia's catalog from your time in the US? Yeah, those are some bell bottoms.
Yeah.
But it is
they were kind of skater, but they wouldn't have been the kind of pants that he's wearing. Obviously, those are cat chinos that have got bell bottoms somehow.
Yeah. The only thing is when he did reveal that he was keeping his pistol there, that made sense to me. That you need more space for hiding a pistol. You can't do that in skinny jeans as easily, but I guess. But it is confusing because they also have homework in this college. We never had homework in college. Is that a thing?
I was messaging Amrita. I was like, I don't understand. Is this a high school? What is this? She's like, no, it's university. I'm like, what?
Yeah. You don't have homework in Indian college, right? Do you? Do you guys?
No, you do. Some of my friends went to a college that had uniforms, so it wasn't even so things are screwed up around here.
Okay.
So the one other filmy reference that I can dig up about Main Hoon Na is that. So first I thought that the brothers are named Ram and Laxman based on the Anil Kapoor Jackie Shroff movie Ram Laxman, but it's not. It's named after Ram Prasad Sharma and Laxman Prasad Sharma from Golmaal, played by played by Amol Palek.
Oh, nice.
There are so many little Easter eggs in this film. I really enjoy it.
I think it still holds up. I think it's a good watch. I'm happy we revisited it.
Most definitely. Yeah. And there's you discover many little things every time you give it a rewatch after a couple of years, and it's great.
It's good. It's like comfort meal at home, like dal chawal or something like that. It's it's good. It's good.
It's like khichdi.
Khichdi.
I need khichdi now.
Yeah, cool. Shall we wrap up so Sujoy can start making his khichdi? Beth, where can people find you online?
I am on BethLovesBollywood at Twitter.
And we will see you again very soon when you lose this Filmfare nomination competition prediction.
I can't wait.
I think we won't reveal what we're going to make the other people watch, by the way. We'll keep that as a surprise when the results are out. Amrita, where can... My most favorite Amrita, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Amrita IQ.
And my Theek Thaak Sujoy.
Thanks. Thanks, Asim. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at 93K.
Great. I'm on at Asim Bernie. Apparently, you can find me on Reddit. I'm going to also be on the Moviewala podcast. Check that out. Subscribe to us. Keep us at number 1 in Pakistan. Dil Dil Pakistan. Keep voting for us. And drop us an email at youpodcasting@gmail.com with any thoughts. And thanks you for listening. We'll be back in 2 weeks.
Khandaan podcast on the acting.